It's just different.
If I ain't better for you, baby, who is? Why you always rushing like a Putin now? Eventually I gotta face the music. It's different when you're looking through the bird's eye. All this California I'm inhaling. Ready the readies for me, that would be the main thing. I always took the risk to know I'm audacious. I'm out in Vegas like who would ever fall. I'm at the top, I got the bird's eye. First time I see the
Yo, what is going on, people? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to a sweaty me on camera. Just finished a 5k or a 5.5 anyway. I am in Birmingham at the moment and I don't know where I'm running, so I just made up a route and it just so happened to be more than 5k because I got lost. Anyway, I digress. We are here today to talk all about this particular shoe. As we love a running review or a running shoe review on this channel, it would only be right I do a review on these New Balance Fresh Foams More V3s. Bit of a mouthful, but yeah, I'm gonna go shower because I stink and I'm sweaty, and then we can get stuck on with the video. Stuck into the video. Anyway, see you in a bit. But yeah, we're in this block of flats and that's the canal down there, and it basically wraps around for, well, quite a while, like 4k. So just followed along that, which is pretty nice. Nice little scenic view from the flat. All right, that's better. I'm in somewhat a presentable state now, which is good. Here's the shoes we are talking about. Look like I've barely used them, but I've had these for about 3 weeks now. Done quite a bit of distancing, so I figured it's about time I do the good old Jacob's Fitness Journal running shoe review. So let's dive right in. So here we have the New Balance Fresh Foam More V3s, which are a new shoe to me. I've gone from Nike to Hoka and now to New Balance. When it comes to running shoes, I spend hours searching reviews of what it is I want and what it is that I'm looking for. And I found it with these, and as you can probably tell by the size of the sole, one key for me when I look for running shoes is the comfort, that cloud foam feeling of when you're running. I suffer with bad knees, so I need something very cushioned and very supportive. But at the same time, I want that responsive bounce. I don't want all of my shock and spring to be lost in the sole. So it's very important to find something that cushions as well as springs off from your step, which for me is key. And in with the New Balance, I'm just gonna stop saying the full name. They're New Balance from now on. With the New Balance, I found that with this shoe within the first couple of runs that I went for. So my first takeaway from the New Balance on my first few runs was how amazing the support was in your heel as well as knee support. It sounds crazy because they're on your foot, how do you get knee support? But I find with the same likes of Hoka, a comfier, more of a soft loaded sole definitely helps me with my knees. The Nikes that I ran in before had it, but it wasn't as effective as something like this or Hoka's, especially the Clifton 7s. And for me, it's key. Now with this, look at the size of the sole. I mean, it's easy to tell that there's gonna be a lot of cushion in there. I was skeptical at first because I had a pair of New Balance before, albeit they weren't anything like this, not a scratch on the quality either. They were cheaper too, so that kind of scarred the New Balance thing for me. But I figured it would be silly for me just to shut off from such a well-known and big brand in the running game and across football, etc., and all other sports is New Balance. So I went for it, the Fresh Foam More V3s. I looked at lots of different videos, comparisons with the Hokas with these, and I have to say I love the colorway. The sole on the bottom is very cool. One takeaway from this, which is so much nicer in my opinion than the Hokas, is the amount of sole you have in the heel. For me, I'm a bit of a heel first runner. I don't know why I'm moving my heel like you can see it, but I'm a heel first runner, as crazy as that sounds, that's just how I am. So to have a big shock loaded heel like that, I can definitely feel the difference already. I would say as you sort of taper down to the front, it's on par with the Hokas around the sort of midsole to front area. But in the heel, it's definitely a lot more noticeable. So if you're somebody like myself who runs heel first, you may find that this shoe will benefit you greatly in comparison to something like the Hoka Clifton 7s, which, albeit the Hoka Clifton 7s are the only Hokas I have experience with, but as time goes on, I'm sure that will change, as my opinion of Hoka is still the same. They are a great running shoe. But we're digressing. Let's talk about the shoe in question and on camera. the New Balance. So let's point out things besides the sole that I really enjoy about this shoe. And that first one will be the tongue. Let me get these laces undone here for you, and I'll show you what I mean about the comfort of this tongue. Not only is it nice to have this part here, which is reflective, which I'm very grateful for. I do a lot of nighttime runs, as in England here, in the winter, it gets dark very early. You got illuminated there, it's reflective, which is very nice, but the tongue itself, look how wide that tongue is. It's a wide tongue that sort of curves around the shape of your foot, which is very comfortable, and it's also very padded. I found with the Hoka, it was kind of just there on the top, whereas with this, it wraps around your foot, which makes all the difference. Just like any running shoe, all of the final touches make all the difference to your running experience. So that for me is an extremely good addition to this shoe, which they may or may not already have on their other running shoes, but for me, this is the first good New Balance product that I've experienced, and that tongue is amazing. Another feature I would like to mention is the looks. For me, looks are important. I wasn't massively sold on the looks of the Hokas. Sorry about that, there's a load of building work going on around. You done? He's done. As I was saying, I wasn't massively sold on the looks of the Hoka Clifton 7s. The colorways that they have aren't great, and they're not really in fashion, I would say, but that's kind of different because everybody has their own taste in fashion. But for me, it's not in my fashion, should I say. But this colorway is like an electric blue with like a green volt. I love that. It's really stunning. You've got like the turquoise that fades into the sole here. More so on the black pair, but you can see what they've tried to do on the sole is give it like a little patina look, which I think is really nice on the white part of the sole. It's a real nice touch, and then the fresh foam written along there. But the green offsets the blue really well. And it's just an overall nice color. Like, it's not a navy blue, it's like a, I don't know what you'd call it, like a sky blue with different tones. So that's more of a navy, and then like a light blue and then a sky blue. It's lovely, and then it offsets with the green. These things matter to me. It may not to you, but looks and aesthetics of a running shoe for me is key. Anyway, next feature. They have this, I don't know what they've made it out of. It feels like a soft fabric, but it's not. It's extremely hard here around the heel of your foot to add additional support to your ankle and keep that heel in place with a nice little finishing touch of the New Balance logo in that Volt green. Sick. It makes a really nice addition, and it also looks really nice on the shoe. Like, it's there for purpose, but it also works as a nice little styling feature. And heel support when you're out running is key. I mean, from inside, it feels metal. My heel doesn't shift at all in the shoe when I'm running. It really holds it in place. And for somebody like me who has quite a slim foot, I was gonna say skinny, but a slim foot, it's really good, especially around the heel with my foot. It's very slim. I don't know if you can tell from there, but yeah, it's not the widest of feet. And it holds it in place really well as that wide berth tongue that wraps around your foot. It makes for a perfect comfort ride. Another key thing, the sole itself. Not only does it look good aesthetically, I probably shouldn't touch that, it's pretty dirty. It also performs really well. You can see on the camera there, in comparison to the Hoka, which I have the most experience with after covering many hundreds of miles in that shoe. This has more of like a depth in the sole, so the sole sort of sits further in and the grooves sit further out. Don't exactly know what word to describe that, but it helps a lot, especially with grip. So the outer parts that are colored are a little bit more, what's the word, like rough, a little bit better gripped, and then the white parts in the middle are a little bit smoother. And it's a really comfortable sole, it's really grippy. That run I've just been on outside along the canal is all wet cobblestones. They're smooth, but they can be slippy. And this didn't slip at all. It held me up really well. I didn't roll any ankles, despite the fact there's some uneven cobblestones. It performed really well, and I'm massively impressed. I'd like to discuss the material on the upper itself, as well as the laces. So the upper material, I haven't had much experience in the wet yet, but from what I've read and what I've seen and heard, it's quite waterproof, as well as very breathable. It's not extremely tight, my foot doesn't sweat like crazy, and if on the tongue here, it focuses. It's really nicely webbed, which lets a lot of air in. It's a nice like waffle webbing, so it's very breathable. I can feel through there the little holes that let your foot breathe, especially if you wear thick socks like myself. And the upper area is very soft too and very breathable, as well as quite robust. And all around here in the dark navy is like a rubber textured material, sort of finishing up on the front here, which wraps all the way around both sides, which is a great touch again. I'm not sure if it's there for any benefit other than looks, but hey, it looks good and it feels nice too. Okay, so you may or may not be wondering why I keep comparing this to the Hoka Clifton 7. And that is because this shoe, the New Balance Fresh Foam More V3, is basically the competitor to the Hoka. From what I've read, it's used for road running, for the wet and the dry, and it's supposed to have that same cushioned feel with a very responsive sole. But I will say, I found with this shoe right off the bat, having less experience with this over the Hoka, yes, the Hoka has the same cushioning feel, if not a little bit more, across the board or across the sole. But I found with this, it has more of a feel in the heel as opposed to the toe box. In the heel, it's a lot more cushioned, which is fantastic. But this has more of a spring in the step, and the Hoka, you sort of lose a lot of your momentum in the cushioned feel. Whereas with this, you get that comfort feeling and the cushion, and then it wants to spring you off again. So you're not losing the spring in your step. And for me, that is key because I like fast runs. I don't really cruise. I want a nice comfort feel with a spring in the step as well, so I'm not losing my momentum in every step. And that extra heel sole makes all the difference for me. As I said, I run heel first. So when you're going heel first, that big chunky heel in the sole makes all the difference. It's just taking the impact and then I'm springing off with my feet, and in this front toe box, it's super, super responsive. So what would I buy over the Hoka Clifton 7s or the New Balance? Well, for me, I'm sorry Hoka, I do love you and I will be back, but right now, until New Balance bring out something that I might want to try, at the moment they don't, this is good enough for me and I'll stick with this shoe until it's time for a new pair. Then I'll have some trouble on my hands because I'll have to decide whether it's back to Hoka or try and find another pair that New Balance do for me. So guys, that is my review. I will leave the link down below where I bought these from, and the size that I am and the colorway that this is. If you're interested, I have no affiliation with the brand. I'd just like to help you guys out who support me, so I try and give my support back. New Balance Fresh Foam More V3. Absolute belter of a running shoe. I've gone into detail pretty much about everything that is worth noting. So yeah, grab a pair, let me know what you think. And if you're currently using Hokas, let me know which one you prefer, whether it's the New Balance or the Hoka. It's been a shoe review. Again, I hope you enjoyed. Drop a like down, subscribe if you haven't already. It makes all the difference. Let's chase that 10K. And yeah, drop a comment too if you want to see more shoe reviews. And if you have a pair of these or Hokas, which pair you prefer. Anyway, thanks for watching guys. Enjoy the video, or I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.